Sis and wellness, everything wellness, mind, body, and soul.
Hey everyone, so I'm back to discuss season 5, episode 2 of Insecure. If I'm honest, I do feel like this episode didn't really give a lot. I do think it was one of those episodes that's going to set the groundwork for a lot of what we'll see this season. So let's get into it. So the episode opens with a constant cycle of Issa's character and Molly's character shutting off their alarms in the morning. And it fast forwards to 1 year later, still the same thing. Issa sees 10K on Instagram, which is pretty big for her, given that she's now having her own business. So Molly now has short natural hair. I love it. I know in real life Yvonne Orji does wear her hair in that short natural cut and it looks bomb. I love to see it. I'm curious to see if this is going to spark some kind of discussion about black natural hair in the workplace, given that Molly is an attorney, and just the dynamic around that, because I think now that it's become more acceptable to wear, or women to wear their natural hair to work in a professional environment, it can still be frowned upon. So we'll see if they shed some light on that during this season. Issa and Molly have a sleepover. It is so cute to see them back together on that level, and sharing those moments together. So Issa is throwing events and she talks to Nathan in the barbershop about an event that he is having her plan. Issa and Nathan, they do go out to eat to further discuss the event that Issa's going to plan for him. And I basically wrote that it was kind of awkward, at least for me. Especially once the hostess brought over the candle, put it on the table. It was kind of hard to see, do they like each other or not? Is this a date or is it just purely business? It was a little bit weird for me. Next scene, Molly is pressing her parents out about the planning of their estate. Her parents, it was quite funny. Her parents gave her a sheet of paper with some handwritten directions like such and such gets the car, such and such gets the house. And she's looking at it like, Mom, Dad, this is not a real plan for your estate. You need to get a little bit more formal, speak with an attorney, and do things the right way. And I know that within the black community, it is one of those situations where, well, I'm not going to say all of us, right? But a lot of people don't want to talk about death. There are a lot of people who don't want to plan for the inevitable. And I just think that this was an example with her parents not really wanting to plan the right way. So while she's talking to her parents, this dude walks up and it comes out that her mom is trying to hook her up with a dude named Herbert. Herbert gave geeky, kind of Jesus freak type of dude. And not that anything is wrong with it, but you could tell that's not really Molly's type. That's really not who she would hook herself up with. So I thought her mom was really just trying it with that one. So when she's in the kitchen talking to her mom, Molly's in the kitchen talking to her mom, Herbert comes in and is playing a church song from his phone. It's like, boy, bye. Next scene, Krishan, who is played by Kofi Siriboe, we get introduced to him. He's a fashion designer out of prison, and he's going to have a show done by Issa's company, The Block. The guy who was heading up sponsorship, I think later we found out his name. I think his name was Seth. He basically wants Krishan and Issa to dial back the performance that they kind of pitched. Seth is telling Issa oh, it seems like you're doing a good job, but I don't know if we have the budget, and I don't know about this, and I don't know about that, and scale it back. And he starts taking out all of these elements of the actual performance. So that was interesting. Okay, so next scene, Molly says that Issa Oh, Issa arrives at Molly's place, and Molly says to Issa that she can never be friends with someone whose dick she's seen, because as Issa walked in, she's on the phone with Nathan, and it's clear that they're discussing business, but like I said before, it's a little bit confusing as to, like, do they like each other or not? Like, which one is it? So that's why Molly made that comment. Issa says he probably has a bevy of bitches. Like, okay, so again, that ambiguity surrounding those two. That's another point where I thought, like, do you like him, Issa, or nah? Issa, like I said, comes into Molly's place, and she tells Molly how the pitch went. And she tells Molly that, you know, the guy said that he wants Chrisean to perform, but they want him to cut back. And they discuss how every boss has a boss. So Molly gives Issa the idea to hit up Nadia, who is Seth's boss. Issa agrees, like, that's a good idea. I'm going to try that. So meanwhile, Molly's mom is steady sending pics of the dude Herbert to Molly's phone and really trying to push Herbert down Molly's throat. Molly shows the pic to Issa, and Issa's like, oh, his daddy is cute. Let me see him. Because Herbert look old as hell. I cackle so hard because he does look old as hell. And like I said, not Molly's type at all. So anyway, Molly is editing her profile on a dating site. And she kind of goes through some aha moments. It's very clear, like, while she's filling out the profile. For instance, they ask, what are you looking for? She starts flashing back. Actually, she saw a previous description that she had down before. She realized, like, I was doing a bit much with this description. And then she starts flashing back to all of the past guys and how she had pretty much problems with all of them. So probably for her, what she's looking for has changed with all of her previous experiences. And I think that that's one of those aha moments. I think Molly is going to find out that what she thought she needed, what she wants is not what she needs. And I think that that's going to be a revelation to come, but we'll see how it plays out. Another question from the dating profile. Dating me is like, and Molly flashbacks even more, and it's of times where past guys have told her about herself. All of those encounters were negative. It just seemed like she just didn't have good luck in that department. So next scene, Issa's out eating with Nadia, which is Seth's boss. And honestly, Nadia invited Seth behind Issa's back. The way she found out was that another plate was brought to the table, and Issa's just like, oh, a third, whatever they were eating, maybe steak. She's like, oh, a third plate of whatever. And that's when Nadia is like, oh, I invited Seth. And he comes in, he sits down, and it's like Issa is forced to talk about the issue, which is that Seth wants to cut back and this and that and the third. But that was kind of shady that Nadia did that, given that she probably wanted a level of transparency and not to be caught in the middle, which is understandable. But I think she could have said that easily to Issa. Like, there was no need to surprise Issa with Seth. She should have just told Issa that, I get that you want to meet with me, however, like, I don't feel comfortable, whatever it took. It was no reason for Issa to be surprised by Seth joining them. Anyway, Steph still stuck to his guns as far as, what he wanted for the Chrisean performance. So afterwards, Issa ends up talking to Chrisean, and he's super excited about the fact that this company NBW is taking him on and sponsoring his performance. But Issa has to break the news to him that they want to simplify his performance. So she gives him the same notes that Seth gave her. And losing those elements of the performance, Chrisean was not happy about that. And given that he is an artist, like, what did you expect? So he says that maybe he should wait for somebody who understands his vision. And Issa kind of talks him out of thinking like that, and they do in fact agree to take the deal and deliver despite the notes that were given. So, okay, Molly talks with her mom, and Molly apologized for being too hard about the estate planning stuff. I think Molly, like I said, she's had some aha moments. She had some revelations from her past experiences, and she realized that she can be kind of hard on folk. Has that kind of rigid personality. So she apologized to her mom about being so pushy about the estate planning. And like I said, I think that it came off of her reflecting on how she has been in the past. Her mom brings up Herbert again, and Molly hangs up. So it's obvious that Molly's mom is like dead set on Herbert. Anyway, Molly looks good when she comes to Issa's event. I loved her outfit, I loved her hair, I loved the whole look. Kia, which is Issa's assistant, she's funny, and she wants Molly down because she still thinks that Molly is the one who brought the gun in last season at that event where it ended up being some shooting. So the reporter lady from last season, she shows up and she tries to interview Issa. That was so funny. Meanwhile, the assistant Kia, she gets Issa's attention and takes her back to where Krishan is getting ready for the show. When Issa walks in, basically she's seeing every element that Seth said that he did not want at the show. Krishan brought it all with him. He brought everybody with him. He brought the drums. He brought the lights. He brought everything. And Issa is like, okay, so we're partners. Why would you go behind my back and add these things back to the show without discussing it with me? And he basically told her straight, flat out, like, it didn't feel right. It did not feel right for me to take away these elements of my show. So basically, I'm going to do what I want to do, and it is what it is. It's too late to remove anything, and it's going to be what it's going to be. So Issa is nervous as hell at that point. Like I said, Issa pretty much has a small argument with Krishan, but there's nothing she could really do about it. And the show starts. Molly is like, oh, this don't seem so bad. And then the lights go out. And then that's when all of the up-tempo music starts. The light starts flickering and doing everything. And Krishan has an awesome show. Long story short, everything goes well. At the end of the show, Seth ends up being impressed. And he talks to Issa about potentially working together in the future and providing more funding for more events that she's passionate about. So it all seemed to kind of like work out in her favor, despite, you know, the awkwardness of Seth not wanting certain things. Next scene is Molly meeting up with a handsome guy for a date. And I like this for Molly. I like that she was able to kind of take some inventory based on like past events, to realize what she wants going forward. And she's talking to herself. She's just like, embrace change, embrace change. And I think this is the beginning of Molly chilling out, like not being so dead set on or laser focused on a particular thing. Next scene, Nathan and Issa are chilling. Okay, so Nathan is talking about leaving. They at Issa's house. He's talking about leaving because he thinks Issa's falling asleep. So she's like, oh, well, why don't you just spend the night? And he accepts, right? They are in bed and he kisses her and everything is all good. And it seems like it's about to go somewhere. But then Issa randomly starts crying. She randomly starts crying and she's like, I'm sorry. I thought I was ready. Issa still is in love with Lawrence. And I'm not surprised by it. I do think that, you know, given their history, I think it's going to be a slow progression towards her feeling comfortable with her decision to just let things go between them. But now it's like, okay, now you opening up the door for other, like, you're opening up the door at this point, Issa, for like you and Lawrence to kind of get back together, which is not what I want for Issa. I want her to be dating. I want her to, even if she's not with anyone, I want her to realize that being by herself is okay. I just don't want her to be so upset over Lawrence, and clearly that is what's happening here, and it's pissing me off. Nathan dips out when he thinks Issa is sleeping, but she really hears the door close, and she's sitting there and looking all sad and shit. That's how the episode ends. Now, I'm curious to see what's gonna happen next. Was this episode awesome? I give it a okay. Like, it was an okay episode. It really wasn't anything that I felt was super, I don't know, informative. Like I said, I hope it's laying the groundwork for what's to come in this season. But anyway, I'll be back with the next review. Stay tuned.